Yo, yo.
Yo,
What's up, bro?
what's up, Rudy?
Yeah, man.
How you doing?
Pilsner?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. How's everything been?
All good. Busy, but chilling.
How's the coffee world treating you?
It's good. You know, just more drinks, busyness.
Getting people caffeinated. Yo,
Exactly.
by the way, how the hell did Cholita pop up? How'd that start?
I got you.
Let's talk about it then. Let's find
Let's
out.
do
Yeah. Cheers, man. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ep-03, the neighborhood edition. The man behind Cholita providing coffee for the neighborhood, the one and only.
It's Bryan Siranaula. It's popping. It's good.
Yeah, super excited to have you here. Thank you for coming by and jumping right into this, man. So like I had to, make sure I get the juice rolling, the fun stuff.
We got you, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate
absolutely,
the
man.
support as always. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We gotta support the neighborhood, and Ridgewood is a growing community, and it's great to see people doing really cool things in the neighborhood. And you're definitely one of them. You popped up, and I was like, hell yeah, man. The space is beautiful. The coffee's amazing. So I was like, you know what? We gotta talk to this man.
Appreciate it, and likewise too.
Yeah, thank you.
Everything that you're doing. Huge fan.
So talk to me, man. How does Cholita come about? I know there's so much we gotta cover, but what was the process before Cholita's? How does the coffee game come into your life? How do you get into this?
For sure, yeah. I mean, I moved out of New York. I'm 29 now, but I moved out to college and then the military when I was 18. So I left New York for a minute, and then I came back in 2023, just to open up the coffee shop. I was done with the military.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you
for your service.
Appreciate that. And then, I mean, just being away for so long, I miss New York. I miss my culture. I miss my family. And it was like, I need to get back to that. And just hearing, and just coming back in different years when I was in the military, seeing how much New York has changed, especially like Queens, especially like parts of Brooklyn. A lot of like the OGs and a lot of like representation in different cultures is slowly like realistically like diminishing.
Right.
And there's this whole like talk about gentrification, but I'm like, you know what I want to do? I want to rep my people somehow, rep the stuff that comes out of like Ecuador,
right?
Where my parents are from, and I'm first generation here. So what better way to do it with like a coffee shop? Because also being stressed out in the military, I was like, I want something chill. I want a space where people can come, hang out. We could talk to them, make it feel like family. And what better way, like I said, than a coffee shop? So,
from active service to the service industry, man. Look at that transition. That's
from one
crazy.
Service to another, yeah.
I love that. So Cholita is obviously it's in the name, Ecuadorian. So how does Cholita? How do you birth it? How does it come out? Like you just moved to New York and you're like, you know what? Coffee shop. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, how do you land in Ridgewood? Like.
So I mean, I'm from Jackson Heights and Queens all day. Like I had to stay
Shout
in
out
Queens.
to Queens. Queens
Shout
get
out
the
Queens.
money.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
But I knew I wanted to do something more tucked into Queens, kind of like that hidden gem type of thing.
Right.
So I chose Ridgewood. I used to hang out in Ridgewood too.
Sir,
Ridgewood,
do you not know this is the most popular neighborhood in the world? Top 4.
Exactly.
Voted.
Oh yeah, number one. You gotta move here.
Yeah.
List.
Thanks for those articles, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah. But sorry.
Anyways.
Yeah.
I wanted to come to Ridgewood, wanted to stay in Queens. And actually, the idea of the coffee shop actually came when I was in my last year and a half in the military.
Okay.
I got deployed. I was active in like the pullout from Afghanistan.
Holy smokes.
And wanted something like I said, just chill. Wanted to come back to family. Wanted to come back to my culture, and I was like, I don't want to go back to school. I don't want to wear a suit, respectfully.
Yeah.
I just want to talk to people. I love art, so I was like, I want to have like a space that also contributes to like the art scene. So that's why like our Cholita is kind of like a little gallery.
Right.
So
yeah, that's the best way. It looks,
exactly.
Pardon my French, but it looks in there. I'm like, man, a little slice of an art gallery. You always have nice artwork going on there. So I was like,
thank you.
You created that. You definitely did, man.
Appreciate
so hats
that.
off to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to fuse everything that I like together. And yeah, like I said, coffee shop. So I just started planning for it. Just kind of like, since I've never worked coffee, I've never been in the coffee scene. It was a lot of YouTube University. It was kind of like,
I love that.
Yeah, and I've never owned a business too. So I was like, let me Google, let me find out what it takes to run a business first. I know I invested some money in and I got something back. And I was like, let me put it for something good. something for like the community, something for myself, my future. So just kind of started studying like the business side, then the coffee side. Then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna invest in a machine and just start YouTubing and like learning latte art, how to like extract coffee, what are the different washes, different blends. So it's just that a lot of just like self-study on my free time. And then when I came here, I was like, Mom, Dad, I think this is what I'm gonna do. They were in full shock and they were like, there's no way.
What?
Like you've never done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've never done it. I was like, just trust it. I think we can do it. But it's just thinking about like I just thought about taking that leap of faith and just sacrificing that little bit of time and hustle to make something happen. So just stuck with that mindset. Yeah.
That's amazing. Just the fact that you are self-taught with the coffee, self-taught, like jumping into online, and I think that's one of the biggest bumps in the road for like anybody trying to start something sometimes is like, hey, I don't know how to do these things, right? Like, when we open up a bar, like we didn't know how to do these things. We partner up with some good people to help us, but it's like, what like if you were like, hey, let me jump online, let me go on YouTube, let me figure this out. Like,
Exactly.
that takes a lot of courage. I mean, not that you need it, you're
Thank you.
doing amazing things overseas, but like, yeah, that's pretty crazy, man. So
Yes, and yeah, just have to do it. And obviously it always comes with like self-doubt.
Right.
There was times where I was just giving up. I was like, no, I don't like even just like trying to do latte art or steaming milk. I was like, I can't get this done. So I was like, what's the point?
Right.
But little by little, I just started steaming more milk, putting more latte art in a cup, and I was like, okay, maybe my hopes went back up. I was like, I think I could do it. So it's just self-doubt is there, but just keep pushing, keep pushing. So really, it was a humbling experience, even just to teach myself that and just be focused on that like set goal. Like I will open up a coffee shop. I will do this for not just myself, but like the community, like what I want to rep, what I want to put out. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think the progress part is like one of the most I fell in love moments with anything, and like the service industry is like, man, we were here, now we're here, now we're in the middle, and we're growing little by little, and it's like painful growth, but it feels great. You know what I mean? Like you could look back on it, and you're like, man, we were here, now we're moving a little faster, like an inch faster, or we're doing this. So I think that's one of those big things is like, don't fall in love with the overall goal at the end. It's just like that process of like, man, grinding it out and thugging it out and like making it happen.
Exactly. There's beauty in that process. Like you said, like it's when you see the end result of it and it's like super good and it's okay, all this was worth it.
Right.
So that's my father has always said that you always have to have patience and sacrifice. And you will hit those bumps, but
bumps are there, man.
Yeah,
bumps are there.
will always be there.
What's been the neighborhood's response to Cholita? Like, what's been something that, like, we get to see when they come into Aftermath is like, we know our regulars and like, we create we try to curate a vibe for everybody that comes in and like make it feel at home. But what's the atmosphere for Cholita? I'm curious to see what the neighborhood's take on it.
For sure, yeah. I think it ties back to like my time in like Washington and Wisconsin, going into coffee shops, sometimes not feeling welcome. Sometimes like if I had a question about a coffee, like I would get grilled and be like, "What do you mean you don't know?" So
how dare you?
Yeah, what you mean? I know I haven't worked coffee, but when I started working with the baristas at Cholita, one of the bigger intentions was we make everyone feel like family. We make everyone feel safe in the space. Even if they don't know, we will explain to them, we will teach them. And everyone feels like family. So I think doing that and being consistent with that, people like that response. And coffee, for many of us, it's the first thing to your day. A simple hello goes a long way. A simple conversation, just checking up on them too, genuinely goes a long way as well. It shows that you care. So that's always been like a big intention with Cholita, and that response, like we have our regulars, we have people coming back, driving all the way to us from like Astoria or even like Long Island, like on the weekends. Okay. So it feels good that we did that for them. We made them feel safe, so they keep coming back. And I think just consistent with their quality in the drinks, make sure everything tastes the same. Even just as busy as we get, as busy as we get, we will like make a latte art for you. Like we'll do a little heart or a little flower, just to show that we care, and we do. So I think that response has been nothing but good, and really, like, again, really grateful for that, that we're all making that happen.
Amazing, amazing. I think the educational piece is like a big one too. Is like, I love coffee, I don't know coffee, right?
Yeah.
Like I know what I like, but you know, I could always, somebody wants to explain a little more to me, I was like, I'm all ears, you know?
Definitely.
It's such a big part of my life, right? Like, first thing we do is we make a cup of coffee in the morning or like in the afternoon, or, you know, we work long nights, so we drink coffee at all times. But it's such a big part, right? So like, you know, I think the educational piece is like, also like, hey, here's a good product. You know, where do you get your beans from? How do you, you know, what roaster you get it from? Like, I don't know if that's the right knowledge for the term,
No,
but
yeah.
but that's such a huge thing, right? So like knowing that where you're getting your product from, and like, you know, the question is, where do you get your product from? Like, where do you get your beans from?
Shout out Choco Coffee in Athens, Georgia, also Ecuadorian owned.
Okay.
So using them was also for our beans was very intentional behind it. I want to rep Ecuador. We only use Ecuadorian coffee. With our retail bags, we sell coffee from all of Latin America. So
Yeah, I saw you at Obscure at one
Shout out
point.
Obscure.
Yeah,
Shout out Obscure. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the first roaster here that we linked and started working with each other.
Yeah.
And his mission behind what he does, he started off wanting to showcase Puerto Rican coffee because that's where he's from.
Yeah, yeah.
And we shared that similar connection where we want to rep where we're from. And right away, I was like, I want to carry your stuff.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
do pop-ups. Let's just help each other out. And remains a good homie until this day. And
Oh,
we
yeah.
just continue to support each other.
Amazing.
And to go back to like the response from the community, I also think about, I remember this one time, my mom, she saw someone carry, this was like years ago, someone carry like a pink drink from like Starbucks, but she was like, I don't know how to order that. Like, she got shy to go into Starbucks and
Damn.
ask like what that
Yeah.
is. And I think thinking back to my mom telling me that was also like the intention behind Cholita. We're gonna make this a safe space, and like what I mentioned, if you have questions, we're down to answer it. We're down to
Right.
explain. We're down to show you how it's done or what this consists of. Like, there's no judgment.
Right.
I didn't start off knowing stuff about, I didn't start off the coffee shop having prior knowledge either. So I had to learn and go
That
through
part
those
still blows me
hiccups.
away, man. Like, I
Thank
can't
you.
believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Exactly. And like, even with the beans, not ordering enough beans, I messed up too. So I can't judge someone for not knowing if I started off not knowing.
Right.
And I had to learn along the way. And I'm still learning. It's my first business. It's the only business I have. Never had a business. So even just that process too, learning along the way and putting that knowledge out there whenever I can. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Man, I think people, they get a cup of coffee, they get so much more too from just not just a cup of coffee, of good coffee. They're getting the service, they're getting, like you said, like if they have questions, all that. And I think that's tremendous, that creating a space. You know, there's some coffee shops you walk in and you're like, man, do you want me to leave? Like,
Yeah.
can I,
honestly,
you know?
yes, yeah.
I walked into a place not too far from here, and it was like, it was rough. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm always very like, you know, uppity and like, you know, cause I'm always on when it comes down to like,
The customs and courtesy.
yeah, this a service. It's like,
Exactly.
you know, and you know, I didn't get a response back, and it was like, not a word. I just ordered my coffee. I was like, okay. I was like, oh damn.
Exactly.
Okay.
And sometimes when we're behind the bar
Yeah.
and we say what's up, it hits, obviously.
Yeah.
So we kind of feel that
Yeah.
on both ends. So even as service people, like we understand that.
Right.
And we want to make sure, like, every time I come into Aftermath, homies behind the bar, always a hello, a dap up, how's your day? Like, we're just having a conversation. So it always feels good to receive that as well. And that's what we want to put out there.
Yeah, man, that's good to.
We're all family. We're all family.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So you were, besides New York, you were stationed at.
I was stationed in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
So way on the other side. Yeah, for 6 years.
Yeah, it was the Ecuadorian scene over there.
No one. Just
No,
me.
no,
Just me.
you.
Just me. and-
Population you.
Exactly. Just population me. So It was a fun 6 years to be stationed somewhere else outside of New York, kind of take in nature.
Right.
Think about what I want to do after the military, and that's where I gained a whole new appreciation for New York and where I'm from too. It's like I don't have this here. The closest thing I can do is like Seattle and go to like, there's a big like Mexican population over there, so go to una taqueria and be able to speak Spanish because I couldn't do it. There was nobody to speak Spanish to. So being in Washington, it was nice with the nature, but a whole new appreciation for Queens and
Yeah, man, there's no place like
New
it.
York.
Man.
So
Yeah,
I had to come back. I had to come back.
A lot of cool places in the world, but New York to me is like forever home, you know? Like,
Yeah.
to picture living somewhere else where you couldn't get Ecuadorian food, Dominican food, Mexican food, like, you know, it's kind of different. But
Exactly.
so you got a beautiful space.
Thank you.
Right under, that's Underdunk, no?
I'm on Underdunk and Catalpa.
And Underdunk Catapa. Check it out, Cholitas. If you haven't had their coffee, stop fucking around, please go. Bumps in the road, right? So like any major bumps in the road that you're like, like I wish I would have known about this. And I'm sure you could think of a lot of them, but like what's some of the big ones that you're like, man, you know, nobody told me about this, but you know.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm not gonna lie. I think there was one time, it was pretty funny, like I did not order enough coffee.
Right.
And like there were times where like I had to close early and I was like, nah, this coffee's gonna get tomorrow. So I admit to that, yeah. But I think it goes back to that. There's those bumps that where you have to just kind of admit that you messed up or didn't do something right, but you learn from it. You just keep going, and then it just becomes very natural to get into like a good flow. So that stuff won't happen again. But stuff like that, and just even with like using my machine for the first time, I was like, I've never used a coffee machine. And I remember they installed the coffee machine the day before I opened. And I just spent the whole day like, okay, how do you steam milk? I gotta figure out how to use this like so it could look very natural when people pull up. So I think that was like a slight bump where I was like, oh no,
you pulled it off.
Can't do it.
Yeah, you pulled it off.
Thank
like
you.
you looked like you knew what you were doing. I was like, oh man, this guy got.
I'm glad it worked. Yeah.
He's gonna make me a fire ass coffee. I walked in, and sometimes you just know, you know.
Exactly.
I was like, he's gonna make me a fire ass coffee. I'm like, all right, cool. They made it with love.
Made it
so
happen.
the love was there. Coffee was
Appreciate
delicious.
that.
So I'll take that.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So I think there was a viral video going around. Buddy's Coffee Shop. Shout out to them. You know, there was a great moment. A great conversation starter for people in the service industry, especially the small shops, like you rooted into doing something for the community to be a representation of what they're trying to do, and you know, fighting off the G word, where gentrification, right? Like it gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
But is there anything relatable to that? I'm sure there is, but like on your take, is there anything relatable to like what, you know, they were going through or they're going through at the time as far as what you got going on?
Yeah, shout out buddies. But I'm grateful that everything has been going smoothly. But it's crazy to even think about that. That's kind of like the reality right now. And of course that fear will always be there, that like, oh, maybe one day like I might get stuck in a bad situation like that and might have to close the shop. I think that's a lot of people's fear. But I don't know how I can relate to it because it hasn't happened. But I do feel that especially being from like places like Astoria, where I like spent the first part of my childhood, I go back and it's very different. All these small mom and pop shops and like the stuff you hear in the news and like different articles, like they try to make it happen, but they had to shut down. So that's always unfortunate, and that's kind of like, that's one of the reasons why like I opened up the shop. You have like this wave of like corporations coming in and trying to like take over like a neighborhood that relied on like these mom and pop shops. And I was like, let me set my flag down here. Let me rep the culture that is still running around Ridgewood, making Ridgewood happen, making Queens happen. And yeah, that's pretty much how I think I can relate to it.
Amazing,
like,
yeah.
I have to do something. I have to put in my work.
I think I think you're again, the authenticity of the space and what you bring to the table is like, it's already speaks volumes, and it's like it's what makes Ridgewood is that we still have these shops around, is that we still have these, like, it could be from Fresh Tacos in the corners. Like, I remember Fresh Tacos when it opened up, like, in the early 2000s. I was like running around in Myrtle Avenue buying sneakers or whatever it was. So it's like, it's good to see some of those shops still around, and like new ones come up too with a good meaning, with a powerful like seed that you're planting over there, is what Cholita is. Because now I feel like you created it's a whole experience, right? So you could pick up, move it wherever you want to. Cholitas now is forever gonna be Cholitas, right? So you're always gonna have that. You created something out of love, out of just character, out of like bringing your roots there, and like, you can't fake the funk, you know what I mean? And like, and I think for those who are from the neighborhood, who come visit the neighborhood, I think it's easier to see like who's faking the funk, who's not. And I'm a big believer that rising tides raises all ships. So it's like, but it's also good if it's some of us raising popping up and opening up bars and doing all these things. So that's why I champion, small business, and like just anybody who's trying to make it happen, because it's definitely not for the faint of heart, not for the faint of hearts.
That's true. And you see, like you mentioned, you see it in Ridgewood a lot, like especially with like neighboring businesses. A lot of them are POC owned. So I mean, we're still around.
Yeah.
We're still making it happen.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're setting that flag down. So that's always going to be important, and we just got to make it happen.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So what is the future for Cholitas now that you've been in there for what, 2 years, or going on 2 years?
Yeah, going on 2 years in June. Yeah.
So what is the feeling? What is the emotions? Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to? Is it going to be Cholitas Part 2, Bushwick? Is it going to be Harlow? Like, what are you thinking about? Like,
that would be wild. But for Cholita, I think I've had a lot of thinking about this. I think just continuing to collaborate with like businesses and people, like neighbors and community for the most part. I definitely still want to continue to showcase art. Like every month we showcase POC, for the most part, Latino art, whether it's like photography or like paintings. We want to continue being that space to represent not only like our culture as a whole, but their culture through their lens and stuff. So we want to continue doing that. Definitely doing stuff overseas. We actually will announce a project soon. I might as well just say it. But
counts out the bag.
Counts out the bag. First ones to know. But we are gonna go to Paris. We're gonna do a pop-up in Paris at the end of March. And there is a not tiny, but there is a Latino community over there where we got invited to show up in the space and just rep our culture.
What the heck, dude? A pop-up in Paris. You see?
Paris, so
that's fucking
the whole
crazy.
team's going. We just got to show out over there. Bring Queens to Paris and just.
Oh, y'all gotta represent.
Set more flags down. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, that is huge. That's huge. Paris. So just how does that come about? Like, what?
It was.
If you're in liberty to talk about it, yeah.
So I mean, we, for example, I think as a community, we're repping each other strong. We're holding each other down, especially at a time like this. So I connected with somebody in Paris who also has a coffee shop and did it for the same intention. In Paris, based on what she was saying, like there's a big Latino community, but there's not much representation, whether it's like maybe geographical reasons. Like it's way far away compared to where we are at, like South America, the Caribbean. But we have the same intentions for the shop, our shops, same intentions for the community. And we got invited and definitely very humbled and grateful for someone to see what we're doing and the intention behind it. So we're just gonna rep heavy in
that is wild. That is some cool stuff, man. That is wild.
Exactly. Thank you.
Cholitas in Paris.
Cholitas in Paris. There we go. Cholitas in Paris.
Name of the episode just dropped. It just dropped by itself.
Yeah.
Cholitas in.
Yeah, I think more of that, just kind of taking a lot of Ecuadorian culture and some of what influenced me to open up the shop to other parts of the world where there might be like a small like community like of Latinos, and we just continue to hold it down over there. So that's definitely the goal. Like if another opportunity comes up, I would definitely take it and show off for the culture.
So let me ask you now, right? Your parents at first, they were like, what are you doing?
Yes.
You don't even know how to do coffee. Like, you what are you doing, right? So now, go back to mom and dad and, hey, me voy para Paris. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What are their take on it now?
It was hilarious because I like to tease my mom about like, oh, okay, we made it happen. I made it happen.
Yeah.
And shout out my mom. Like she's always been supportive. Sometimes she would tease me, being like, "No, but you've never worked coffee. Like
Right.
how's this gonna get done?" I was like, "No, trust it. I promise, I'm gonna get it done." And then when I told her about the Paris thing, it was just kind of like unbelievable. But again, like she even sees the intentions behind it and sees why it's important to do that. Why it's important to rep our culture, and I'm forever Ecuadorian, so
Right.
It's in my blood, and that's what I want to put out there. Like, my culture is what brought me to where I'm at today. Where my mind goes, why I support my own community. So it's just they feel represented too.
I love that. Yeah.
And the intentions behind Cholita too was for my parents. My parents, all like the week that I opened Cholita, they just became residents. So a little bit of Cholita ties in with, I guess, the struggles of not being a resident here in the U.S. and kind of like missing home. So even with our drinks, like we always have those touches of like our culture and like what they grew up with, in our touches in the coffee of like what they grew up with. So it's still kind of like repping that.
And I think that's the beautiful part of the service industry is like, you know, whether it's making a cocktail or making a cup of coffee, is like you're able to give that moment or feeling to somebody of like back home, or a slice of peace of mind, or a little slice of happiness. And you know, that happens with everything. As food, it happens where like, you know, you go in and somebody's always smiling or seeing how your story is. And I think the moving with the intentions to do that is like so tremendous, and that's why like you're able to go to Paris. I think the universe just blesses people when we move with the right intent. You know what I'm saying? So that's super dope that your parents, you know, like I think about it all the time. Like our parents walk so we can run,
Exactly.
and we gotta fucking run. You know, we gotta run and set the tone for the next generation. So I think honorable doing such a big and, you know, a big movement that you're doing. So that's pretty dope. Man. So it's good to, you know, go back and say, hey, look, this could be done, man.
Exactly.
You know, so next time when you come up with an idea, hey, I want to do this, they're like, okay, let's do it. No,
Make it happen.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Like, I want to sell ice cream. You know,
Exactly.
like, oh, está bien, vamos. You know, so they'll know. So it's like that representation too. So that is huge. So to me, that's super huge, and like I'm happy you know, you're a pillar like of representation and like a role model in the community to be able to do that. So that's super big, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Super big. So super excited. We're also, you know, I'm gonna let the cat out the bag. Now we're doing you know, our pop up here on the 16th of March.
I'm hyped.
We're doing a nice little brunch. See you guys there.
Pull up.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. You know, I think coffee, and you know, we all love coffee. So I think having Cholitas be able to coming in the space and like do some drinks for us, that'll be amazing.
I appreciate the support and invite. And
Absolutely.
We're hyped. We're hyped to do that.
Absolutely.
Definitely support one another. Like I said, that's the main intention with Cholita. Yeah.
Before we go on a little further, I want to take it back a little bit. If you had to give yourself a piece of advice right before you started doing all of this, what would it be? Cholita day one, you're like, all right, cool. You could give Bryan a piece of advice. What would it be? What would you tell yourself?
Trust your parents. Trust my parents, because I remember, well, for me personally, I was like, just trust what they say. I am very stubborn, and I remember when I was looking for the space, I would actually take a whole day trip, walk around Ridgewood, and just hope there was like a broker or somebody put like a for rent sign in front of like a storefront. And I think that was one of the main struggles too, just looking for a place in Ridgewood. And I was like, there's nothing coming up. And I would just stress, just keep walking the blocks up and down. And I would bring my mom with me, and she'd be like, okay, everything's gonna be cool, just be patient. My dad too, he's like, just be patient, it's gonna work out. And I was stubborn enough, I was like too stubborn to like trust what they said. I think I was just too focused on finding a space.
Right.
But
Eager.
Yeah, I was
Eager.
There we go. I was
Yeah.
eager to find that space.
Yeah.
But for example, once I signed that lease, I was like, that's when it clicked. I was like, that's the advice I should have taken and did take. But like everything comes with a little bit of sacrifice.
Right.
Whether it's time, whether it's just walking around and looking for that space and just be patient.
Yeah.
And I think it goes for everything else. Just put in that work with those two things, sacrifice and patience.
Yeah, I think
nothing's gonna come easy.
I think those go hand in hand. I think this is one of those things where like patience, if you don't have any, it's gonna slowly inject it in you. You know, it's gonna be like, hey, I know you want to do 10 things at once. You're gonna have to do this one thing right now,
Exactly.
and then you're gonna have to do, So it's like one of those industries that kind of builds character over time.
Yeah, opening Cholita has definitely humbled me, but it's like, okay, I do have to have patience. Even with like making drinks, sometimes like we'll stress, but I was like, okay, we want to put quality in there, we want to put love in there.
Right.
So just Bryan, take your time.
Yeah.
Bryan, take your time. You're good. They see what you're doing, so it's all about it's all that.
I get conflicted like that too. I'm like, man, I see the bars packed and I just want to like bang it out quick, but then it's also like, we're putting love into this, so it's like, I get that, man. Yeah, take your time, but it's that goes into you want to provide a fast service, quick service, and good. Exactly. So, but those are good problems to have. Those are good ways to be conflicted.
Exactly, those are good problems. Yeah.
So, now a little side quest here. You're out in Ridgewood. Besides Aftermath, where are you gonna stop by? What's the day looking like? You got coffee at your shop, and then you're going for lunch, you're going for dinner, you're going for drinks. What does it look like?
Ooh.
It doesn't have to. It could be back home in Jackson Heights too. So like, where are you going? What do you want to highlight?
For sure.
What's the plate? What's the dish you're gonna eat?
That's a good question. No, I like eating everywhere. I got my spots though. I definitely, for Jackson Heights, that's where the food is at.
Okay.
I have to, if I'm hungry, I will drive to Jackson Heights.
Yeah, that's it.
Definitely some good like Peruvian food, some good una bandeja paisa.
Oh yeah.
From Los Toldos on Northern Boulevard.
Okay.
Like Pollo Inca on Northern Boulevard, for Peruvian food. Here local, I've been really fascinated with how Yara from Hellbender does her like Mexican fusion, like food. So
I gotta check it out. I owe her a visit. Her food looks amazing.
Like the lamb tacos, the different jellos. I like that creative take into something traditional. Where else? Las Chilangas. I think we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Las Chilangas, I think, has one of the best birria. So
oh yeah.
Always pop in there. But yeah, I think a lot of food spots over here. Bacon, egg, and cheese in Mount Everest on a little wrap that they have. I
gotta check that out.
It's like a small little deli, but they got a fire bacon, egg, and cheese.
Okay.
Yeah. Just everywhere.
Man, we got good, man. We're spoiled. We're spoiled. That's the thing about New York City, man. We're spoiled. The thing about Ridgewood is that we're spoiled in the best way possible. Like, we got so much good things popping up. So it's like such a blessing.
Yeah, but shout out Jackson Heights.
Shout out to Jackson Heights too. Jackson Heights.
Yeah.
Jackson Heights. Speaking of that, Northern Boulevard. There's I think La Esquina Criolla.
Esquina Criolla.
Oh man, a steak sandwich from there. Like they make their bread there and the steak. Oh my God.
Esquina Criolla.
I'm about to take a drive out there.
Yes, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. Yeah.
Dude, you got the butcher shop in front, and then you just sit in there. Like, you feel like Anthony Bourdain sometimes.
Exactly.
Just
eating a good steak.
It's just steak and bread and butter, man.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. Yeah.
That's all you need. Before we wrap it up, anything you want to add in? Anything you want to throw out there? And
no, definitely grateful and appreciate your support and everybody, all our neighbors, all the customers that come in. Thank you for being patient and really grateful for, like I said, the endless support for these past 2 years. So we're just gonna keep growing from here.
More years, to more.
And helping rep everybody.
Hell yeah.
Helping the flag down, yeah.
You made a staple, man. You got to keep it up. You got to keep it up.
I appreciate it.
When are you going to Paris again?
End of March. End of March.
Cholita will be in Paris. So who the hell is who's gonna make coffee over there?
Nobody.
Oh man, you know what? Sometimes you gotta exit out a little bit so people can miss you. they were like, man, we missed this coffee, you know?
I'm gonna miss
You
all
gotta do
of
a
y'all,
welcome
yeah.
back party. Yeah.
You never know, yeah.
We
We gotta plan that, yeah.
we gotta do a welcome back party. We gotta do a welcome back party.
But yeah, end of March, we'll just be out for like a week, but doing the same thing that we're doing here, just in a different place. So
Amazing. You're doing amazing things here, so you're gonna do
Thank you,
amazing things in
likewise.
Paris. And again, I want to give you your flowers and on behalf of the community of, you know, it's just what you're doing is very, very intentional, very, you know, with the best intentions, putting the best step forward, representing your heritage, your parents, and not only them, you're all of us. So,
Appreciate it.
and to me, that's a big thing. That's where I was like, you know, I got to talk to you and bring you on, and like we gotta, you know, inspiring to other people. And you know, the thing is, we don't have a blueprint when we start doing these things. It's just like told out of a YouTube university or you know, how many times you fall, you get back up, kind of things. But
we're making it happen.
yeah, we're making it happen.
doing it,
so
yeah.
thank you for coming by, man. That was an amazing pleasure. So
Thank you.
We'll catch us on the 16th. We're doing a nice little brunch. So
Pull up,
Cafe
pull up,
Rome. Name to be worked on, but you know, we'll figure it out. Coffee, cocktails, food, we're gonna have it all, man.
Cafecito. We got you.
Cafecito.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
you,
man.
homie.
Cheers,
Thank
man.
you.